Hey, Quinn here, ValhallaOutfitter.com. Welcome to the channel. Today we're talking about a watch. We're talking about the Monta Ocean King version 3. You do get this pretty nice presentation box, polishing cloth, which is pretty nice. Putting all that aside, we'll show you the watch. Now, Monta is a company that the watches are Swiss made. However, the company, I think, is based in St. Louis. It was a watch aficionado and maybe dealer who had a client, I think he was maybe formerly a Merrill Lynch or Goldman, and convinced him that they should enter the watch business. So they did. Obviously, if this is the version 3, there's been a version 1, version 2. The first couple were beloved by many. The version 3 is a slight departure in terms of design language from the first two, but I love it. If you look at the secondary market, you don't see a lot of these for sale. Part of that could just be they are a micro brand, so there aren't as many in circulation as, say, a BB58. But I think part of it is that nobody sells them once they buy them. And for me, as far as wearability, dimensions, specs, features, particularly when you consider price, this I think is one of the best values on the market. And frankly, I think it is one of the best watches on the market. For a little context, I've owned a BB58, BB54, BB58 that was blue, Omega Planet Ocean. The Black Bay 58 to me was pretty close to the perfect watch from the top down particularly. However, the slab-sided nature of the sides just weren't very attractive to me, and I've had the same issue as I consider Pelagos 39. The BB54 overcame that issue and it was noticeably thinner, but with the 37 millimeter face, it was just slightly a wee bit dainty for my tastes. I thought that maybe the dial to the case was slightly out of proportion, and when I would actually go to check the time, I just found that the face was just a little bit too small. So I'm going to zoom you in so we can talk about features, benefits, dimensions of this watch and why I like it, and if you are in the market for a diver, that maybe this should be on your list of what to consider. So let me zoom that camera in so we can really check it out, and we'll keep this conversation going. Okay, so here it is, a zoomed in view. Let's talk about the watch itself in terms of its measurements. I get about 40.5 mils across the bezel. Lug to lug is right around 47.7, and the thickness is 11.7, which is in line with the BB58. However, it's the slimmer mid case that you will certainly notice. Weighs about 150 grams. Dial size is 29.3 millimeters, and the lug width is the standard 20 millimeters. So if you wanted to affect strap changes, you could. These guys basically went to Switzerland and said, here are the things that we want, and here's how we want it made. Had them put together the components, and then they assemble the watch. So it does say Swiss made. It's based on a Sellita SW300, which is their higher end movement. And then it is, I don't know, maybe the 300M or something for Monta, MW for Monta watch, I'm not quite sure. But they do have exacting specifications that they have these movements made to. My example is running dead on. It's running 0 to +4 daily. That's as good as my Tudor and as good as my Planet Ocean would run. I like the tooth, the teeth on the bezel. Supposedly this bezel has some patent pending technology in it. Tiny bit of back play. And I do notice that I kind of have to give it a Seiko half click to get it precisely lined up, which I don't particularly care for. It is under warranty, so I was thinking I might send it in for service, but then I'm going to be without the watch for a little while to do it. You get a 2-year warranty with this watch. It does have a ceramic bezel. The dial is a nice inky black. The second hand has a little arrow at the tip, has a pencil minute hand, and then kind of a sword hour hand, both of which are rhodium plated, I believe, as are the indices. Has the date window at the 6 o'clock position, which I think gives the dial nice symmetry, so the date window almost looks like another indice. The lume on this is great. It lasts all night. I can read the time all through the night if this thing is charged up from a day of activity. It does have crown guards. It does have a signed crown. And wearability of this thing is just top flight. 48 lug to lug is my max. For me, I've got 6 3/4 inch wrists. However, my wrists do change size throughout the course of a day. So when I was thinking about moving away from the 54, both my Planet Ocean and the Black Bay 54 have the toolless on the fly micro adjust. If your wrists change size at all through the course of the day, once you have one of those on the fly toolless micro adjusts, it is hard to go back and not have it. Crystal on this is pretty flat, mostly brushed elements, which I prefer my tool watches to have, although there is a little polish on the sides. No exhibition case back, but that doesn't particularly bother me. Given how thin this wears, and that even though it does measure as thick as the Black Bay, a lot of that thickness comes from the bezel, this is just a very thin wearing, comfortable watch. And to the toolless micro adjust, you get a real satisfying click when you close the clasp, and then it has the security clasp. But what you'll see here is that it is equipped with toolless micro adjust. I believe this version has 6 positions on the micro adjust. They do make a clasp that has 3 micro adjust positions. That might work for me, but I do find that I use more than 3 over the course of a day, so 6 is probably my sweet spot. They did just release a newer version of this. I'm going to see if I can get my hands on one, which is a blue variant that instead of the ceramic bezel has the aluminum insert, which is a little bit more true kind of to the homage, skin divers of old vibe. As far as comfort goes, this thing is extremely comfortable. Hear this? The clasp is well made, and you know it's not going anywhere. And again, on my 6 3/4 inch wrists, from a lug-to-lug standpoint, this is about my max, but it wears so comfortably and thin that I found I just don't take it off my wrist. The Seiko SJE 117, I just shipped it out today. It felt like a perfect size, although after wearing this it did feel a little bit small. I do have an SPB 451, which I like because of its 46.6 lug to lug, but it's 13.4 millimeters thick, as opposed to the 11.7 found in this. Also, that 6R35 or 55 that's in there, it can be accurate, but it's not as consistently accurate as this. And that SJE 117, mine was consistently running like right at spec at plus 14 seconds a day. I'm a little bit of an accuracy weenie, and this thing is dead on. I think this is every bit as nice in terms of case finishing, performance, and accuracy as the BB58. And I would even say that the clasp with the toolless micro adjust on this is even nicer. When it comes to micro brands, I've looked at Baltic, I've looked at Laurier for kind of their vintage skin divers. This is on the expensive side for a micro brand, coming in at a retail price of about $2,500, but the proof is in the pudding. It is expertly finished, finely crafted, extremely accurate, extremely comfortable. This is a watch that was clearly designed by watch aficionados who know what the desires and the Goldilocks of sizing is for many of the watch buyers in the marketplace. Monta Ocean King V3 I can't say enough about this watch. Now I'm down to 3 watches in the watch box. This is one of them, and the other 2 are for sale. For me, I think this could be a one and done watch. I'm so pleased with it overall. Love what the guys over at Monta are doing. Just exceptional attention to detail, craftsmanship, and they really are paying attention to what the modern watch buyer is looking for. My only slight niggle would be I would appreciate a no date version. However, I think date windows sell watches, and the way this is done at the 6 o'clock is tasteful and kind of makes the date window look like just another one of the indices. Can't say enough good things about this watch. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat below. I will try to answer everybody. I appreciate you tuning in. If you are in the market for a go anywhere, do anything diver that is capable and has a little bit of panache, it's a little bit different. The guys out of St. Louis going to Switzerland, figuring it out and putting it together. This is the total package, and these guys know exactly what they're doing. I hope this helped you on your watch buying journey. If it did help, like the video, and we look forward to seeing you down the trail. We'll keep these things coming. Exceptional watch. Haven't really taken it off since I got it. Great job from the guys at Monta. Take care. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you later.